The interim agreement between the United States and Iran is now dead. The so-called Memorandum of Understanding has expired after both countries spent weeks accusing one another of violating its terms. Fox's Doug Luzader joins us live from Washington with the very latest. Doug.
Jay, good morning. The 60-day agreement between the U.S. and Iran never got much traction, and the president is continuing to criticize U.S. allies he says have not been supportive enough of the U.S. effort. President Trump returned to Washington yesterday, keeping his distance from the media, but on his Truth Social platform, he didn't hold back. Joint exercises between the U.S. and South Korea are set to begin today, but the president is ordering the Pentagon to scale them back. He argues the event is too costly, it's provocative to North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, with whom the president says he has a good relationship, and he posted, while somewhat unrelated, I recently asked the president of South Korea if they would like to join us in the denuclearization of the Islamic Republic of Iran, and they said no thanks. U.S. operations enforcing a blockade of Iranian ports continue meantime. The 60-day Memorandum of Understanding between the U.S. and Iran to allow for negotiations expires today, and it may not have much impact on what has become a waiting game on both sides. On Friday, the president promised success.
Pretty soon I'll be declaring the Hormuz Strait a territory of the United States.
Iran's deputy foreign minister fired back, posting on X, the Strait of Hormuz cannot be seized by tweet, nor by aircraft carrier, nor by issuing an order, nor by an election speech. Now, there have been more attacks on ships transiting the strait, but oil prices have been relatively stable, all things considered. Jay.
So, I mean, Doug, if Iran decides they want to increase, I guess, pressure without I guess starting an all-out war, what are the likely things that happen next, I guess, here?
Well, you know, the next decision may be in U.S. hands about whether to really go after the regime, going after specific regime targets, or to simply wait them out. And, you know, this is where Iran thinks it has an advantage because of our upcoming midterm elections. But clearly, the blockade of Iranian ports is having a huge impact on that country's economy. The leadership is not seemingly concerned about that, though.
Yeah. And the length of this whole agreement that's now up that you mentioned today, I mean, could Iran have, I guess, gotten stronger during that time?
Well, you know, that's always been a concern, that they would essentially rearm in terms of drones and missiles, the kinds of things that are being used to disrupt traffic going through the strait. I think the U.S. would argue that the blockade of Iranian ports is helping prevent some of that resupply, but they're obviously getting some goods through to Iran from other, you know, countries that may be wanting to support them, like China or Russia.
All right, shalom, shalom. This is the brother Shakar here with another lesson through the power and spirit of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. Before I get started, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai B'Hashem Rakav Kodash, and double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of the great millstone from which I learned this truth. Peace and blessings to the house of David, doing this work with all righteousness, truth, and sincerity. And I want to say shalom to the whole full elect. Shalom. Right, I'm going to get right into it. This is Isaiah chapter 47 in verse 14. Yeah, I'm going to start there. Because no matter, you know, what type of ceasefire, okay, they do, no matter what kind of extensions they want to give as far as ceasefires, okay, they're not upholding, okay, you know, their treaties. You see what I'm saying? Every which way, okay, they get broken, man. But ultimately, there's no way out for this devil. Okay, hey, the Lord has this man in a trick bag. See, no matter what this man does, okay, speaking about Esau, the Edomites, okay, which so-called America is Babylon the Great, okay, there's no way out. There's going to be no way out but to be what? Just to be destroyed. That's it. That's the only way out. Okay, you know, take part in the punishment, the destruction that the Lord's going to bring. But let me start here in Isaiah 47, chapter 14. It says, behold, they shall be as stubble. The fire shall burn them. They should not deliver themselves. See, from the power of the flame, there should not be a coal to warm at, no fire to sit before it. Because this is not going to be just a regular fire. No, this is going to be a fire that's going to have to burn itself out. You see, that's how much destruction the Lord's going to bring to so-called America. And it's not going to be your typical fire where you could just call the fire department. They're going to come with their, with their hoses or water hoses and put out this fire. No. Okay, this is going to be a fire that's going to burn and burn and burn until ultimately it's going to burn itself out. Ultimately, so-called America will be that wasteland, okay, for the desert creatures. But let me go to verse 15. It says, "Thus shall they be unto thee with whom thou hast labored, even thy merchants, see, from thy youth. They shall wander every one to his quarter, none shall save thee." Because we heard them report that South Korea said no thank you. Okay, they don't want no part, okay, in this war, because ultimately all these nations, okay, they're hating the whore, man. You see, they do not like so-called America, because everything they do is what? It's just to gain, well, for ill-gotten gain, man. They go in, they take the resources, they set up their puppet leaders. Okay, they do everything against what they do is they bring that nation down, man. They bring corruption. Okay, they bring death. Okay, this man is as death. But let me go here to Obadiah. Let me see. We'll start at the top. It's only one chapter, and we'll just go ahead and start at the top. This is Obadiah 1. Well, again, only one chapter. I'm going to start at the top, verse 1. It says, "The vision of Obadiah. It said, Thus saith the Lord power concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yoshai, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle." So all these nations, okay, they're getting ready to come up against so-called America. Again, because this man Esau, okay, he's been the devil, okay, that the Bible speaks about. And yes, he's come against all nations, but the Lord going to get him back for what he's done to the nation of Israel, man. What this man has done, okay, to the children of the Most High, to Jacob. But even when it comes to these other nations, okay, this man does not deal fairly. Okay, he is as death, okay, to all people. Listen, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. And that goes both for the, right, the people here in so-called America with the leadership, okay, the government, and even the people, man. They hate the people here, and then when it comes to those small hats, okay, those that are right now in the land right now, the imposters, everybody hates some people, man. You see, so they are greatly despised. Listen, the pride of thy heart has deceived thee. See, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock. Going back to this man being what? A cave dweller, man. Okay, a caveman. You see, this is who he is. It says, because they dwelt in Mount Seir. Okay, they were in the Caucasus Mountains. Basically, they're the cave dwellers, man. This is who they are. This is who he's speaking about. It says again, thy pride of thy heart has deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Because they become very proud, man. They claim they went to the moon. They have put satellites and such in the orbits. They got their spacecraft. Okay, they've done that. Okay, but right now they're in such a lofty position, they think they're never going to come down, man. As the scripture says, they believe that their houses shall continue forever. Listen, it says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yoshai. Again, they claim they went to the moon. They never went to the moon, but they have put, satellites and such in orbit, man. So they've made their nest amongst the stars. See, and again, they think through the technology, okay, the capability of, again, putting satellites in orbit, okay, manufacturing, okay, all these certain vessels that fly in the air, their spaceships, space shuttles, their jets, all those things that they were able to to pretty much make. It was all through the power of spirit, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yoshai. He gave them that technology. So even today they have their AI technology. Okay, they got their Palantir. Okay, they have their ways of surveillance. See, these are all things that the Lord gave them. You see, through their false science, man. They believe that they did it on their own accord, man. But really, it's the Lord gave them, okay, all these capabilities, so ultimately they could become proud. So ultimately, the Lord, He's gonna go ahead and take them down, man. The Lord's not gonna let this man, okay, strive, okay, to accomplish everything that he has in his mind. No, the Lord gonna bring this man down. Listen, it says, if thieves came to thee, it says, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? So would they not have stolen till they had enough? If grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? So in this man, he goes in and he takes everything. Okay, again, he's stolen everything that he possesses, through his blessing, the blessing of the sword. They rape, rob, see, and they murder. This is the way that they get everything. You see? But when the Lord brings this man down, he's not going to leave him anything. Matter of fact, let me grab this. I'll come back because I want to get a couple more verses because the point's a little lower than I wanted. But let me go to the book of Jeremiah. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 49 and verse 7. And it says, concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem El host, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Because everything they do right now is sloppy. Okay, they don't make no sense in the moves that they make, but the Lord has them doing those things so they can be exposed. Okay, for who they are, man. Again, the devil that the Bible speaks about. It says, flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dedan. Now, Dedan was known for what? Its trade and its commerce, just like so-called America. It says, for I will bring the calamity, see, of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit him. See, and the Lord's visiting him right now, man, through all these tokens. Okay, the signs in the heavens, the earthquakes in diverse places, and through the prophets, man, the men of the Lord. This man has seen, okay, the Lord's men rise up, and he's scared, man. He's afraid. You see, they're afraid because they know that they're at their end. That's why they're going to have to make their move very soon. But the Lord going to put that spirit upon them, okay, to make that move. And then he's going to take them down. Listen, it says, if grape gatherers come to visit thee, would they not leave some gleaning grapes? Because that was like a welfare system, okay, in the ancient times, man. They would leave, whether it be corn or whatever, wheat, it didn't matter, whatever they were harvesting, okay, they would leave some for what? For the poor, man. But this man, he takes everything. And that's exactly what the Lord's going to do to him. Listen, if thieves by night, will they not destroy till they had enough? So if a thief comes in to rob your house, he's not going to take everything. He's not going to unscrew your light fixtures and go in and take your plates that dollar store plates. I'm just making a joke of it. But the thing is, they're not going to take everything. They're just going to take what? The valuables. You see? But Esau, okay, he goes in and he takes everything. But this is exactly what the Lord's going to do to him. He's going to make him bare. Listen, but I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places. It says, and he should not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, and his neighbors. See, and he is not. You see? So this man's gonna come to nothing. The Lord gonna take him down. So let's go back to Obadiah. Let's go back to again, it's only one chapter. I believe I left off from verse 6. It says, how are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? See, and that's through the men of the Lord, man, the prophets. Okay, the Lord put the spirit upon, okay, his men to chant down, okay, so-called America, to chant down Babylon the Great, to tell everybody, okay, who this devil is. You see, and they're even telling upon themselves. Psalms, the 64th chapter said that their own tongue shall fall upon their own selves, man. You see, so this man's going down on all levels. He's being exposed, see, on all levels. Now, let me jump down to verse 7. This is actually the point I wanted. It says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. See, and even like the report said, South Korea wants nothing to do, okay, with so-called America. And they're supposed to be so-called America's allies. But that's the way it's going to be for all these nations. Okay, all these so-called allies going to turn their back, okay, on these damn devils, man. These devils going to be left alone to fight, okay, for themselves, and they're not going to win. Listen, and let me start again at the top. All the men of that confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee, see, have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread, see, those that this place has commerce with, okay, have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Because, again, this man, he's weird in his counsels. You see, he again, everything he does is sloppy. You know, he's being exposed. The Lord, okay, Yahweh Hashem Yoshai is exposing them. You see, the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yoshai, he's exposing this man, okay, every which way, okay, he turns. It says, shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy, see, the wise men out of Edom? It says, and the understanding out of the mount, see, of Esau? It says, and thy mighty man, O Teman, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one, see, of the mount of Esau may be cut off, see, by slaughter. It says, for by violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. You see, again, this man has come against these nations. That's why these nations, okay, they don't want nothing to do with them. But this man's ultimately going to go down for what this man did to his brother Jacob, man. Okay, he's continually, okay, well, let me grab that real quick. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 5. It says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, see his blessing, in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. So this man, okay, he doesn't stop, man. He's just gone overboard. Okay, he's gone full force, man. Okay, this man, you know, he's deranged, man. Okay, he's crazy. You see, and everything that he's done to the children of Israel, okay, there's going to be a recompense for it. Listen, therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Says, if thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. There's no way out of your punishment. You see, let me go to Amos 1 and 11. Yep, it says, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yoshai, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother, see, with the sword, his blessing, and did cast off all pity. He doesn't have pity on Jake, not at all, man. You see, everything he's done to the so-called Native Americans, so-called Hispanics, so-called Latinos, and so-called Negroes, okay, there's been no pity there. It says, and his anger did tear perpetually, meaning it doesn't stop. There's no end to it, man. But the Lord's going to put an end to it. It says, and he kept his wrath, see, forever. It says, but I will send, see, fire upon Teman, which shall devour the palaces of Basra. See, that's speaking about so-called America. But as these nations, okay, they're coming against you, okay, they're going to burn you with fire. Let me grab that. Let me go to, and the Lord is doing this, okay, as a recompense for what you did to Jacob, man, what you did to the Israelites. Revelation, let me see, chapter 17, and let's go to verse 16. Yep, and it says, and the 10 horns, which at one time there was 10, okay, but now there's about 30 vassal states. This is speaking about the vassal states, okay, those that are in league, okay, with the beast, okay, part of the beast system, man. Okay, you have EU, okay, NATO, and then so-called America, man. That they all make up, okay, that beast system. Again, it says, in the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, it says, thee shall hate the whore. And who's the whore? Speaking about so-called America, man, riding on that beast. It says, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Because, hey, they're going to shoot them missiles, okay, upon this bitch, man. Okay, they're going to burn her. Listen, for the Most High had put it in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and to give their kingdom, see, unto the beast, unto the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. So they were in league with you, okay, they were with you, okay, for that little while, even though you were doing them dirty. But there's going to come a time, okay, when that change is going to come in their mind. You see, and it's already happening. See, they hate so-called America. So ultimately, this place is going to burn, man. Like the scripture says that it's going to burn, okay, like an oven. Let's get it. Let's go to Malachi, and I believe in the NLT it says the final admonition. So the final warning. Matter of fact, let's get it. Let's get it in the NLT. Well, let's get it in the blue letter. I'll probably read it in the King James though. Malachi, so you can see the subheading. Yeah, final admonition. You see, the last warning. It says the coming day of judgment. That's how it reads in the NLT. Because this is coming. Listen, for behold, the day cometh, thou shalt burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. See, and that's Esau, but that's even going to include the other nations and 2/3 of their own people, because they've become very, very proud, being in that same mindset. Okay, like Esau and even the nations. It says, I'll read it from the top again. It says, for behold, the day cometh, thou shalt burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble, and the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. You see, so everything's going to come to to a point of being stubble, man, destruction. There's going to be nothing left here in so-called America. Matter of fact, let's grab this. Let's go to 2 Peter. So ultimately, there's no way out for this place, man. That's it. The only way out, okay, is destruction. Other than that, there is no getting around it, man. Okay, you're going to be punished, Esau. This is 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 6. It says, whereby the world that then was, being overflow of the water, perished. Speaking about the time of Noah. Okay, the time when the Lord flooded the earth. But listen, but the heavens and the earth, which are now, by the same word are kept in store, reserved unto fire, against the day of judgment and perdition, see, of ungodly men. So there's no way out of it. It's the Lord has made a reservation, okay, for this place to go down, okay, in flames. You see, that there is no way out. Let me grab this. This is Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 22. Yeah, let's start there. It says, a sound of battle is in the land, see, and of great destruction. Speaking about, again, this place right here in so-called America, Babylon the Great. Listen, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? Because you've been that hammer. Again, going to all these nations, okay, taking the resources, okay, doing them dirty, man. It's time for you to get a payback. It says, how was Babylon become a desolation among the nations? It says, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware. So again, there's no way out, man. Okay, you're trying to make these ceasefires and trying to get nations to join you, but there is no way out, man. The only way out is destruction. It says, thou art found and also caught. And this is why. Because thou was striven, see, against the Lord, man. Everything you do is contrary to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So you got to be recompensed. It says, the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai has opened his armories. So these are the Lord's missiles. And has brought forth the weapons, listen, of his indignation, meaning his righteous anger. It says, for this is the work, see, of the Lord, power of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. See, the Chaldeans were those ancient witches and warlocks. Now, what do you have today? Okay, the elites, man. Okay, they run everything through what? Through their witchcraft, man. You know, whether it be the television, the music, the food, the water, everything. Everything has been set up for what? For falsehoods, for deceits, man. You see? So, hey, the time's going to come for you to be burned, man. Okay, you're going to go down. Listen, come against her from the utmost border, open her storehouses, cast her up as heaps, and destroy her utterly. It says, let nothing of her be left. It says, slay all her bullocks, let them go down to the slaughter. Woe unto them, for their day is come. See, the time of their visitation. See, because this place is going to be one big sacrifice, man. You see, so-called America is going to be an altar. You see, and the Lord going to burn this bitch, okay, to the ground, man. Listen, it says, the voice of them that flee and escape out of the land of Babylon, listen, to declare to Zion the vengeance, see, of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, our power, the vengeance of its temple. See, and who's that? That's the Israelites. Okay, beginning with the elect. Okay, they are that third temple. You see? And again, the Lord is going to bring great vengeance. It says, call together the archers, see, against Babylon. And what does the archer do? He throws those arrows. Matter of fact, I'll come back to this, but let me grab this real quick. Psalms chapter 21. Let me see. And I'm gonna read most of it in the King James, but I'm gonna read a little bit in NLT. Psalms chapter 21, verse 8. It said, thy hand shall find out all thy enemies. Thy right hand shall find out those that hate thee. Who's the right hand? Yahushai. Said, thou shalt make them as a fiery oven in the time of their anger. Just like we read in Malachi, right? That day that cometh shall burn as an oven. It says, the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai shall swallow them up in his wrath, and the fire shall devour them. It says, listen, their fruit thou shalt destroy from the earth, and their seed from among the children of men. So Esau's going to be done away with. He's not going to be able to forward his kingdom, well, his people in the kingdom. You see, once that 1,000 years is accomplished, a brutal captivity, you're going to be done with. Obadiah, okay, the 18th verse, man. Okay, that's it. You're done. Listen, for they intended evil against thee. They imagined a mischievous device which they are not able to perform. She's speaking about their NWO, man. Okay, their New World Order. Okay, speaking about that chip that they want to put in, under the skin. Yeah, they're going to get a lot of people, but you're not gonna get what you want. You want full control, and you're not the Most High, man. You're not going to get full control. No, the Lord is in control. Now I'm going to read verse 12 in the NLT. It says, for they will turn and run, listen, when they see your arrows, see aimed at them. You see? That's why I wanted to get that, because right here it talks about the archers, right? Let me read that again. Jeremiah 50, verse 29, it says, call together the archers. What do archers, they have those arrows, man. Okay, they shoot them arrows. Listen, call together the archers against Babylon, all ye that bend the bow. See, all these nations that have, okay, these weapons. It says, camp against it round about, let none thereof escape. Recompense her according to her work, according to all that she hath done, do unto her. For she had been proud against the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, see the Holy One, of Israel. Again, there's no way out, man. That's it. Okay, once the Lord, well, we know that there's going to be there's an order to prophecy. Okay, Jacob's trouble got to hit. It's got to come at its full height. Okay, it's got to hit its pinnacle. Okay, they're going to implement, make that chip mandatory. But then in the midst of that, we're going to have World War III, man. And that's it for you, man. You're going to be burned, okay, with that fire. Matter of fact, let me get this. Let me go back to 2 Peter 3 and 10. Let me get this verse as well. It says, but the day of the Lord, listen, will come as a thief in the night. Okay, that's going to be to those that are not ready. Okay, those who don't have the Spirit, man. Those that are just, basically they're just carrying on like everyday life, man. Just like it says, like in the days of Noah, there was eating, drinking, okay, being merry, man. Okay, they didn't have no care about what the Lord wants. You see, they're just doing everything that they've always done. But that day is going to come to them as a thief in the night. Again, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens, meaning the Esau's rulership, shall pass away with a great noise. Speaking about, okay, that destruction. And the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Man, this place is going to get hot, man. It says the earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up, man. So everything that Esau has accomplished through the sword, it's it. It's over, man. His rulership is done. His people are done. That's it. Hey, there's going to be no more rulership, coming forth from this damn devil. Let's grab this. I'm only going to grab a couple more. Let's go to 2nd Esdras. Let me see. Chapter 16 and verse 3. It says, a sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? And the answer is nobody. A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? Again, no one. That's it. There is no way out, Esau. It says, plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? It says, May any man drive away a hungry lion in the wood? Or may anyone quench the fire in stubble when they have begun to burn? It says, may one turn again, listen, the arrow that is shot of a strong archer. See, ultimately, this is the Lord's missiles. So he is that archer. But he's going to use these nations against you. It says, the mighty Lord sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away? A fire shall go forth, listen, from his wrath. See, and who is he that may quench it? He shall cast lightnings, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, see, and who shall not be afraid? It says, the Lord shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder? You see, amen. When the Lord brings that recompense, again, if the Lord has you in his scope, there's no way out, man. And Esau, you are on the Lord's scope, man. Okay, right along with the other nations and 2/3 of our own people. You're doomed, man. Listen, the earth quaketh, and the foundations thereof. The sea ariseth up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled. The fishes thereof also before the Lord, and before the glory of his power. It says, for strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp. See, they're not going to miss. Well, it's going to say it. And shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. Now, where are the ends of the world? Where's the end of the world at? Right here in so-called America. Also known at one time as the fourth part of the world. You see? Hey, they're not going to miss, man. They're going to hit their target. Behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. The fire is kindled and should not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth. So right here in so-called America, that fire is going to have to burn itself out, man. It says like as an arrow. It says like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backward, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon the earth shall not return again. It says, woe is me, who will deliver me, see, in those days. See, as Ezra saw this prophecy, he was like, man, how am I going to get out of this? See, ultimately, hey, the Lord going to deliver, okay, his elect, man. Lord willing, we be a part of that number. See, but as for you damn devils, okay, there's no way out, man. So with that, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I'm going to close out and give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakak, Kodash, and double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of the great millstone from which I learned this truth. Peace and blessings to the house of David doing his work with all righteousness, truth, and sincerity. And I want to say shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom.